Hey there, Margie Bryce here, bringing you the Crabby Pastor podcast. And I don't think you're going to be too surprised to know that it's too easy today to become the Crabby Pastor. Our time together will give you food for thought to help you be the ministry leader, fully surrendered to God's purposes and living into whatever it takes to get you there and keep you there. So we're talking about sustainability in ministry. Who here remembers Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? At the very least, maybe Slumdog Millionaire might ring a bell, but it used to be on TV. Maybe it's made it to TV land by now, that station. I have no idea. But it's kind of a crazy question, right? Remember the show? If you got stuck on a question, you could get help. And you had 3 options or lifelines. You could ask the audience or crowdsource the answer, which meant, you're at the mercy of the intelligence of the audience. And who knows? Who knows where that could take you? I mean, maybe you have a whole crowd of PhDs or people who really just know a lot of stuff about life and stuff. But either way, you are at the mercy of the intelligence of the audience. So if you want to ask the audience, that's where you are. You could also get a 50-50. You got one shot at that. You could eliminate all but 2 answers. So what you had before you was the right one and the wrong one. A coin toss, basically. So maybe that would help you, for sure. But the one I wanted to get at today was phone a friend. Okay, for starters, hopefully the person that you call answers their phone. Do you have a friend that does not answer their phone very often? It just is not something that beckons to them, and they just kind of, and you've even maybe said to them, hey, aren't you going to get that? So hopefully that's not the person that you're going to phone, but I do know some of those people. Maybe you do too. And hopefully the friend that you phone is well-versed on the question being asked, right? I mean, the millionaire game is kind of multiple guess, right? I think it's 4 options. But you don't want to pick a friend that's kind of hedgy on their answer, I don't know. Maybe this eliminates calling an Enneagram 9, who might offer you the benefits of each one and not necessarily pick one answer. So I don't know. But you want someone who's sure of this information, especially, when there's so much on the line. $1 million. I mean, what could you do with $1 million? Think of all the good you could do with $1 million and the debts you could pay off. But I digress. To me, phone a friend is most important. It's most important. As I sit and coach with ministry leaders lately, and I'm not betraying any confidences when I say these things, because confidentiality is a key part in coaching, but there are plenty of ministry leaders who are either ready to cry or are already crying about where they are, not necessarily the location, but where in life and in their calling that they find themselves. I mean, who goes into ministry for that, But there's plenty of hurting ministry leaders right now, ministry leaders who are struggling post-COVID, trying to figure out how to do ministry with less money, less people, less committed. I hate to say volunteers because I prefer the term servants. It's a whole new terrain out there. And the truth is, there's plenty of unhealthy congregations out there, with unhealthy patterns of living. And that can really take a ministry leader down as you're struggling to lead them into a good path. But finding that path or getting them on the healthy path often includes helping them see their unhealthy patterns of existence first before they can get on to the healthy path. Well, that's a lot. It's a lot. And one thing I hear quite a bit is that the congregations that they had before COVID is not the same one that they have now. So then you have to retool. And that's a lot. It's a lot. And then there's the isolation, right? And here's where I'm going with the phone a friend thing, and this, maybe I should call this a phone a friend challenge, because you knew I was going to circle back to the phone a friend thing, right? After my little tirade about ministry. I mean, did you know that you could be someone's lifeline? And maybe your own life isn't all that in a bag of chips. Maybe everything is far less than perfect. Welcome to that club. But you can be someone's lifeline, someone's link to $1 million. Well, okay, not $1 million, but certainly towards a richer experience in life. How is that? Simply by phoning a friend. Hey, Margie Bryce here, and I have something free for you. If you are unsure of what your mindset is when it comes to self-care, if you know you should do self-care, but you're just not sure how to get that rolling, how to get started, I have a free ebook for you. And it is about radical self-care, and it will get you started thinking about it, and has lots of helpful information. Actually, what it is more than anything else is a journal style kind of piece that will help you work through the process of self-evaluation, so you get a sense of where you are with self-care. So to get this free ebook, I'm going to put a link in the show notes, and you can access it from there, and it can help you get started on the self-care that you should be doing anyway, and get you started maybe on taking some definitive action to ensure that you have the sustainability necessary to go the distance with God. Let's start here. Which one of your friends, and when I say friends, I'm counting the folk that you've done a bit of life with, not your list of virtual friends, and I'm using air quotes here on virtual friends in case you can't see me, but people who you would quickly recognize if they walked into a room. Which one of your friends of the friends list are actively dealing with an issue in a situation, and you know it? It's a situation that maybe you've been aware of for a while, and maybe you've even heard about it for a while, but it's also been a while since you spoke with them. Here's what I'm going to say to you, and here's my challenge to you. Phone that friend and check in. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how are you doing? You were on my mind, you were on my heart today, and I wanted to reach out. Here's another question. Which one of your friends has stepped into some big stuff? These are challenging times all the way around in ministry, indeed. Maybe the big stuff is just the regular stuff, but with everything else that's been going on now, and with everything being rearranged so that the regular stuff, seems big. Got any friends doing that? Then here's my challenge to you. Phone your friend. Check in with them. How's it going? How are you doing? You've been on my mind, you've been on my heart, and I wanted to reach out. And lastly, but certainly not least, is a group of friends that are seemingly very high functioning. You got any seemingly high functioning friends? I say seemingly because, they seem courageous. They'll step into a lot of things that others won't. And they're very good at organizing, coordinating, and just overall getting it done, right? They kind of seem to need not much. But the truth is, they could very well be dying inside and in need of a call from a friend. Especially phone this friend. They could seem to not need the call, But in a few months from now, they might come back to you and say just how much it meant that you cared enough to call. So those are just 3 of the kinds of friends that you might want to call. And I'm going to say you got to call instead of text, instead of emailing, instead of instant messaging. Those are very, very flat mediums. People need to hear a voice laced with compassion, concern, and love. So think about this. You've been on my mind. You are pressed upon my heart. Think about how those phrases look on a text, as opposed to say this. Hey, you've really been on my mind a lot lately. You've been really pressed upon my heart, and I just wanted to call and see how you're doing. Maybe you hear the difference. So overall, phoning a friend is just that. You care enough to reach out. And maybe God is nudging you to reach out to a particular friend, or you're just wondering how a certain friend is doing. Don't just go to Facebook and check it out, because we all don't put everything, and we all don't put the downer kinds of material out there. Facebook is the place where we all are all that and a bag of chips. Maybe you need to look at your list of friends and go down one by one and phone them and ask, how's it going? How are you doing? Maybe this is a project you can work on over time. Maybe every week I'm going to call 3 friends and do the check-in thing and see how they're doing. Just 3. And then work your way through your friend list. So that is your assignment for this week. By this, you are enriching their lives more than a lousy $1 million for sure. So you want to make time to do it. You won't regret it. I can promise you that. And what you will do then is build into your own life and into your own heart a sense of community, a sense of being connected to others, a sense of getting yourself out of your own head and your own challenges and your own trials and your own troubles and focusing on something else. And I can guarantee when you are taking that moment to just sow into someone else's heart and life, God is busy at the same time sowing some things right back into yours. So I'm going to tell you that you need to seriously take this challenge on. You will not regret it. I promise. I promise this. And I'm going to end this episode with this. If your friend is geographically close enough, then perhaps they need to see your smiling face too. But that's the next episode of The Crabby Pastor. Hey, thanks for listening. It is my deep desire and passion to champion issues of sustainability in ministry and for your life. So I'm here to help. I stepped back from pastoral ministry, and I feel called to help ministry leaders create and cultivate sustainability in their lives so that they can go the distance with God and whatever plans that God has for you. I would love to help. I would consider it an honor. And in all things, make sure you connect to these sustainability practices, so that you don't become the crabby pastor.